and welcome to Investment Trains, brought to you courtesy of the Zambia Development Agency and ZNBC. Now, with the advent of the African Continental Free Trade Area, it is imperative for African countries to increase trade with each other. One platform that provides a unique and valuable platform for businesses to access an integrated African market of over 1.2 billion people is the Intra-Africa Trade Fair. But how can Zambian companies leverage this platform to take their businesses to another level and to penetrate the integrated African market? To shed more light on this, we have in the studio ZDA Acting Director General and Inter-Africa Trade Goodwill Ambassador, Mr. Halwampa. Sir, it is good to have you in the studio.
Thank you, Hezron. I'm glad to be here.
Great. I'd just like to find out, maybe you can shed more light on Inter-African Trade Fair. What is it and how is Zambia benefiting from this?
Thank you so much, Hezron. The Intra-African Trade Fair is a platform under the African Union, under the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Area, to make sure that countries in Africa are able to trade with each other. Data has shown that trade within Africa, African countries trading with each other, Zambia, Angola, Zimbabwe, Egypt, Nigeria, name them, is around 18%. And this has been compared with other continents such as the Americas, the European Union, the Asian countries, where trade amongst these continents is around 70%. So when the African Union was actually established, they now went a step further and signed the agreement on the African Continental Free Trade Area. Now, the African Continental Free Trade Area is a single market, as you alluded to in your introduction, with 1.2 billion consumers, with over $3.4 trillion of gross domestic product. But then, how do you jump from 18% to the likes of Europe, to the likes of Middle East, Asia, and America? So this platform, called the Intra-African Trade Fair, was inaugurated in 2018, where we had the first Intra-African Trade Fair, in short, IATF. This was held in Egypt, and it was very, very successful. Over $30 billion of trade deals and investment agreements were signed. So this is a huge platform to bring all African countries to one place, so that trade within Africa can at least get somewhere closer to 60%, closer to that of Europe, closer to that of Asia, closer to that of America. So that's the whole objective.
Awesome. But you know, something comes to my mind here. Why has it taken this long for African countries to just work together and be able to enhance such opportunities, or leverage such opportunities that are presented through this kind of initiative?
Thank you, Hezron. That's a very important and difficult question. I think the main reason why we've taken so long, I think we have different cultures within Africa, also the political dynamics, even the economical dynamics. You see that Africa has been, disintegrated in so many regional groupings. Talk of SADC, talk of COMESA, talk of the East African Community, now talk of ECOWAS and the other 4 major regional economic bodies within Africa. Africa should have, for a long time ago, have had just one single market. But because we are fragmented, African countries belong to multiple regional economic groupings. But I think there is this belief and consensus that time has come for Africa to be one, for Africa to invest within Africa, for Africa to trade within Africa, for Africa to integrate closely within these economic communities. The one good thing is that it has been observed, for example, Zambia. We are members of SADC, We are also members of COMESA. So all these multiple memberships are not the best. We don't yield optimal results by belonging to so many regional groupings. So the African Continental Free Trade Area and then bringing now the IATF platform is an important step, and I hope that going forward we will be able to achieve the Agenda 2063 of the African Union. We hope that now Africa can realize that it's better to work as a single block, not disintegrated. It's better to invest as Africa. It's better to trade with Africa. In fact, I think it's even better that we can fight for markets outside Africa as Africa. For example, sugar industries in Africa, or those producing mealie meal, can now group themselves and fight for markets in Europe as Africa. As you might be aware, some of these markets, there are non-tariff barriers, there are technical barriers to trade. But if we begin to move together as one block with $1.2 billion, I mean 1.2 billion consumers and 3.4 trillion GDP, I'm sure that the rest of the world will begin to listen to us.
We've seen the West and other regions. Now we have the Asian countries seemingly taking advantage of the African bloc to do business. And, you know, authors have even suggested that the Asian bloc are looking to Africa as their second continent to enlarge and to take advantage. Now, how are we positioned, more especially Zambia, being advantaged, because now we are no longer landlocked, as now we are interlinked, linked to trade. I want to see how ZDA is positioning itself in such an undertaking, in this initiative. How are we taking advantage of this?
Thank you very much, Hezron. That's a very, very important question. For the viewers that might not be aware, the Zambia Development Agency is mandated by law, by an act of parliament of 2006, number 11, to promote trade and investment. And when we talk of investment, we are talking about foreign direct investment and domestic investment. You Zambians, yourself, Hezron, with your fellow Zambians, you can come up together with an idea, a business plan, and invest in Zambia and start big companies. And then we have the foreign direct investors. Now, the dynamics here is that as Africa becomes so attractive, and in particular Zambia, we need a mix of policies to make sure that the foreign investors should partner with Zambians. They should go into joint ventures with Zambians. It's a question of agreeing on what are the benchmarks, what are the thresholds. But we want to make sure that as foreigners come to invest in Zambia, we should partner them with the Zambians. And I think that's the best way that will create sustainable investments in this country. For example, you may not have liquidity in terms of funds, but you should have learned somewhere, even in your village, with now the scaling up of titling. An Asian will come with $1 million or $20 million and is looking to invest a plan somewhere. You should be able to say, sir, I've got this land. This will be my equity into this company called X. Let's work together. Let's create jobs together. And if the Asian at some point decides to leave Zambia, you as a shareholder in Zambia, you'll have an option either to call other Zambians to partner with, or outrightly, you know, buy that entity. So as ZDA, the role we are playing is to make sure that the foreign investors going forward should be able to partner with the local investors. They should work together. They should have joint ventures. They should have partnerships. That is the only way we'll create jobs in a sustainable and, you know, a profitable way.
Now, talking about the Intra-Africa Trade Fair, which is the reason you are here, so I want to bring your attention to the event and to discuss further on where this event is going to be held and who's scheduled to be part of this event.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hezron. When we had the first IATF in Egypt in 2018, Rwanda bid to host the Intra-African Trade Fair that would follow, which should have been held in 2020. But as you might be aware, COVID has had its own dynamics. This event should have been in Rwanda this December, but it was now, shifted to South Africa, Durban. And we are now scaling up invitations to invite Zambian companies to say this is an opportunity for you to go into Durban and meet companies from Nigeria, meet companies from Ghana, from Kenya, from Uganda, and talk business, and talk about partnerships, and talk about trade, talk about the comparative advantages that Zambia has to be able to export all over Africa. This Intra-African Trade Fair is a platform which every company, from small, medium enterprises to large companies, to be able to go and take advantage and sit down with their counterparts and strike deals on behalf of the Zambian people. So it's very important that the Zambian companies prepare themselves to go and meet with their fellow counterparts. Because, Hezron, if our Zambian companies don't participate on this platform, they will not benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Area. There is no other better platform under the AfCFTA where you bring all countries and all companies that are able to exhibit in one place to be able to exchange views, to be able to exchange technology, to be able to learn from each other on how to do things. So this is a very, very important platform, and ZDA is encouraging all the companies that are able to participate to get to Durban and do business for Zambia and do business for Africa. It's very, very important.
So right now we can say that everything is set. People who are interested, companies who are interested to be part of this event are ready to just go visit your website or ZDA in person, and they'll be assisted. And also I would like you to add a word on how many countries are expected to be part of this event, and of course probably is ZDA offering any training for the people who are going to be part of this event coming from Zambia. I mean the Zambian companies, do they need some grooming, some mentorship on how to handle themselves as they position themselves in that event?
Yeah, thank you so much, Hezron. IATF is being managed by Afrexim Bank. That's a very aggressive and powerful bank who we are shareholders in Zambia, because all central banks in Africa are shareholders in Afrexim Bank. And Afrexim Bank, in collaboration with the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat and the African Union, are organizing the Intra-African Trade Fair. So because of the players involved, the African Union, AfCFTA Secretariat, Afrexim Bank, there is no better platform you can get to. You must actually run, if you're a company who knows what you are doing and who has futuristic goals to get to a higher platform, to trade more in Africa, invest more within Africa, and escalate your profits and turnover, IATF is the platform. In terms of countries, Africa has got 55 countries who are members of the EU. Of course, ratification of the African Continental Free Trade Area is ongoing. I think so far 37 countries have ratified, including Zambia, meaning that we must be one of those that should be propagating and being aggressive in promoting IATF and even participating. So we hope that at least 80% of the countries will be in Durban and will be participating in the IATF. And as ZDA, we help companies to make sure that they position themselves and be able to participate successfully in this IATF. We train them in terms of how to negotiate deals, in terms of how to carry out trade negotiations, in terms of how to do contracts, how to construct the contracts that you should sign at the IATF or any other trade fair. So we also coach them on how to construct the transaction, dynamics, whether it's a letter of credit, whether they want to be paid in advance, or any other method that is suitable to them. So we also make sure that we examine their products, because you must ensure that the product you are taking to this trade fair is to the standard that is required, probably international best standard. So we also make sure that before we take these companies to IATF, we'll have done good market research as ZDA, so that we provide them with up-to-date information, so that they will know probably who they should be expecting to meet in terms of B2Bs. I think the B2Bs is more like the climax of participation in the Intra-African Trade Fair. We are able to arrange business-to-business meetings. If you are producing sugar, we should be able to find importers who will be able to sit with you during the IATF to actually discuss business on how much sugar they should buy from Zambia. Or if you are producing mealie meal and you have decided to go to IATF, we'll be able to identify which companies from other countries, Angola, Congo, DR, who want to buy mealie meal. So by the time the IATF is over, companies will have bagged a lot of trade deals.
Awesome.
They'll be coming with orders in Zambia just to begin now to produce and export. And also it provides a platform for the companies to see how they can re-engineer their investment. They might meet an investor from Angola who is looking for someone from Zambia to partner. Maybe escalate livestock breeding, or it could be production, some of highly demanded products like mealie meal. And those are huge opportunities which you would not find if you are just seated in Zambia. So you need to get to that platform. It's very, very important.
Beautiful. I want also to find out from you, who's eligible to attend this event? I know you mentioned that small and medium enterprises, and also you mentioned that any business house can attend, but also I want to find out the sectors, specific sectors that ZDA are interested in, and then also you can just add 120 in. Are they supposed to pay any fares, registration fees? Are they required?
Yeah, thank you so much. The IATF is multi-sectoral. It cuts across sectors: agriculture, engineering, agro-processing, mining. So the idea is to bring all African countries with their companies to be able to synergize, discuss deals and so on and so forth. So in terms of who qualifies to go to IATF, firstly, you must have capacity to supply the whole of Africa. If you are only supplying the local market and you don't have the capacity to expand, you go to the Intra-African Trade Fair, you get an order, maybe almost 100,000 metric tons of mealie meal, yet your capacity is only maybe 5,000 tons, then you need to think how you can do it. Probably you need to go in groups of milling companies to say we are going to this huge market. In case we find a buyer of so many hundred thousands of metric tons, we can form a consortium and supply. But there are also companies who have the capacity. They have supplied the local market, they are supplying the regional market, they are into SADC, they are into COMESA, but they have discovered that they can go beyond these two regional blocks. Now they want to supply the whole of Africa. IATF is the place to go. And there could be, companies who may want to just participate in certain workshops, seminars, and trainings. A company can decide to invest depending on what their business plan is. But we are encouraging, as much as possible, companies that are export ready or are already exporting, because it will be very easy. If you are ready to export, or you're already exporting, you get an order or a contract, a huge one, you come back home and expand your business, expand your production. Or if you're export ready, you may begin to start exporting in smaller quantities and begin to escalate. Yeah, in terms of what should people or other companies pay for the IATF, I think Hezron, I think it's time to do business in Africa and in Zambia. The time for going to business environment or platforms free of charge, I think is so costly to government. I want to tell you that participating in international trade or export promotion is an expensive venture. It's not cheap. Countries spend almost $20 million per year to promote exports. It's an expensive venture. So would rather, as much as possible, those companies that are ready to go and participate in the IATF to contribute something. And you know, research has provided sufficient data that if companies are just being just lifted into the plane, you know, they are just literally taken there free of charge, they will not value their participation there. So it's good that businesses should contribute something to participate in these fairs because it's expensive. Government alone will not manage. It would rather some of this money is spent on education in Zambia, you know, health facilities, constructing roads. But in terms of the private sector, they must contribute something in terms of participating in this very high level, important fora. Because at the end of the day, they will come back with more business. So for example, if we are charging 20,000 kwacha to, you know, for a company to go and participate in the IATF, then they go there and clinch a deal of $10 million. What is 20,000 kwacha? Honestly, what is that? So to answer your question, we are charging very minimal amounts like 20,000 kwacha to afford companies to go and bring, you know, contracts, sometimes even $1 billion. I remember when we went to the first IATF, we took one a medium-sized company, SME. They are into supply of, you know, PPEs and, you know, mining equipment and stuff like that, overalls. They came back with an order of $3 million, an SME run by a family. Now, if we charge that SME 20,000 kwacha, would you say we are unfair or we are unreasonable as government, as a contribution?
You are reasonable.
Very reasonable, extremely reasonable, over-reasonable.
Thank you so very much.
So we are encouraging the private sector to come on board. IATF is happening. It's happening in Durban, and the opportunities are huge to be missed.
Just your concluding remarks within a minute, just emphasize on the dates, just the dates and the time it's happening.
Thank you so much, Hezron. The IATF is happening from the 15th to the 21st of November 2021 in Durban. And this is a venue Zambia cannot miss. We are exporting a lot into South Africa and also importing quite a lot from South Africa. So South Africa is a very important partner to Zambia. Remember last time I talked about N8+1 strategy, exporting to all the 8 neighboring countries plus South Africa. So to the private sector out there, the +1 is South Africa. Let's go to Durban and meet Nigeria, meet Ghana, meet Senegal, Congo DR and Malawi, and come back with business, create jobs, create wealth, expand our business, reinvest, and make this country rich again. So this is a huge opportunity. Come on board. We are depending on you. ZDA is ready to work with you to make this country prosperous like never before.
Thank you so very much, sir. Well, you've been watching Investment Trains, and of course, we invite companies to come on board and be a part of this IATF event happening in Durban. I've been your host, Hezron Ngosa. See you, and God bless you.